So I got asked a question from a viewer. His name's Roberto, and the idea is I've been doing a lot of videos on how to connect speakers up using Bluetooth. In this video here, we're using the Alto Ts415 along with an actual Alto subwoofer to hook it all up using XLR cables and standard cable connections. It's also going to a mixer, so we're going to need two XLR cables. These happen to be from Digiflex. It's a Canadian company, and we're also going to be using two Blaskins because the Alto mixer uses a 1/4 inch as an output, not an XLR. So in this case, I didn't have balance, I had unbalanced, but that's okay. They're not very long cables, and I'm not too worried about it. If I was buying them today, I would actually buy some balanced cables to make this particular connection. But in this case, no problem. These guys make great selection of products. They're not sponsoring the video, but their link's going to be down below for you. So if you're looking for them, by all means, use that link. That always helps us out. Now, the Digiflex cables, this is unique. Now, again, a Canadian company, I don't know if they ship to the US or not, or where they ship to, but they make amazing custom cables for you because they actually have a whole office set up where all the cables are made in Canada, and they make lots of cables. They'll actually make them up in your own color patterns, so this way you can make them up in your style. I made a choice to have some green and purple ones made up years ago for the channel. So here's the mixer. I do have two of them, but the first setup we're going to do is going to be here on the Alto. This is the TrueMix 800FX. Brand new mixer. We're going to have a review just on this mixer. Now the important part is it does have Bluetooth, and the output is going to be 1/4 inch. Now, this is really important. We're going to start with these cables first. They're going to come off the mixer. We're going to just connect them straight off. Everything's still not actually powered up or turned on. There's, of course, just the cables going in first. Everything needs to get connected first before we even talk about power. So again, two 1/4 inch cables. These cables are going to come out of the mixer. No problem. Easy enough. Straight down to the subwoofer. These are the cables that we're going to need first. In this case, I'm using one subwoofer, and it's going to be right here in the middle. Now this subwoofer here, straightforward, we're going to have two XLR cables, one to the left for the left speaker, and one to the right for the right speaker. This is important. The instruction guide tells us to go this way. It's just a straightforward hookup connection for this setup. Now I know a lot of people get confused because there's lots of buttons and everything like that. And so what should come first, the chicken or the egg? So in this case, the subwoofer comes first, not second with Alto. Now again, this is the Ts18s. Now if I had two of these subwoofers, I would still hook up just to channel 1 on each subwoofer. So the left one would be channel 1, the right one would be channel 1, and then I'd be able to run out. So now I can run my cables out of here. This is where we switch over to XLR to XLR. So again, we're hooking up the left cable into channel 1 because it just makes sense to do that. And then we're going to take our second cable and we're going to hook that up into the right side, which is channel 2. And there you go. That's our left-right connection right there. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to use the bottom handle to fold it over. Then we'll just plug it right into channel 1 on the back of the speaker. And there you go. Make sure it's in line. We're going to cover all that here in a second. Look at that. Line, not mic, very important. Keep the gain volumes down. No power yet, of course. No plug in it either. So we're just going to go off to the next speaker here. And here we are. So now we're on the right side. We're going to do exactly the same thing again because this speaker has an extra handle at the bottom. I do roll the actual cable through that handle. It just gives, you know, some strength to the handle to keep it in place. Now we're going to plug it in again. Channel 1. Right there in the back. We're going to make sure all the channels are down. We're going to make sure it's in line. And we're going to make sure the power's off. Of course, we're not ready to plug it in yet because everything's not all hooked up. So here it is, me doing a little cable management. And of course, you know, you got to keep things clean and tidy as much as you can. I'm bringing in the power cord. Now we're going to be ready to power the whole thing up. So very straightforward. I'm going to start by plugging in the mixer first. Now we can actually pull out all the power cords. Look at me going full speed, fast forward bit here. Yeah. And again, cable management a little bit. You know, I mean, I'm plugging this all off in about 5 minutes once I'm all done. But for now, let's get this all plugged in, powered up, ready to go. Subwoofers last. Everything's plugged in. Everything's safe and secure. Now, this is important. First thing we want to plug in and turn on is the mixer. Watch this. Did you see those? Those LEDs just showed why you want to plug and turn on the mixer first there. This is important. That spike would have made that big, huge popping sound out of the speakers. So now that we've got the mixer on, no worries about surging there. I'm going to turn on the subwoofer because that's the next in line. Then we're going to turn on the speakers again. So this way the subwoofer doesn't surge the main speakers. It's pretty straightforward. Everything's all set, ready to go. So now we're going to actually check some of the connectivities and how we're setting up the back of the subwoofer. So the sub's going to be set up in DJ mode because that's going to be my intention. I'm going to start with the volume at unity. That's where the 0 mark is, and we're all set. Now I can switch the polarity and alignment of the speaker, but we don't need to because our speaker is going straight forward. For the main speaker here, we are ready. We're setting up the gain full 100% because we do know this is a matching mixer. We're going to set up the subwoofer, so this way sub is for large 18. We're going to put the speaker in speaker mode. Now we're going to do in the DJ mode. Now we're going to do the second speaker. And now the second speaker, again, full gain. Then we're going to make sure it's still in line. We're going to also check to make sure that we have it in large 18, and we're going to put in DJ mode. Now for the mixer, here we are. Make sure everything's set, everything's down, all the gains are down. We don't want to have any additional gains on any of the levels set below. If we don't need a level, don't set it up. We're going to be using Bluetooth, so we're going to make sure that our main volume is down, our Bluetooth turned up, and we're going to take time to connect our Bluetooth to it. Now again, if I had any microphones or anything like that, they'd be up across the top. I'd be able to adjust the gains, all the levels, bring that all down. But in this case, it's just Bluetooth. So here we're going to spend a little bit of time tweaking it a little bit. Now, you notice I'm looking at the meters, I'm turning up the main, I'm trying to get a fine-tuned balance between where I want to see my main and I want to see the level adjustment of the Bluetooth. Making sure that the phone is at the right volume. And I'm doing this just with Bluetooth. If this was, for a real show, definitely everything would be hardwired in. Now here we are doing some sound checks and we're seeing absolutely no red lights anywhere. Now the subwoofer, because we're not seeing any red lights, we're going to bring that up. So I brought up to 75%. Later on I will adjust it a little bit down and find a 65% as a sweet spot. Now here we are going back and forth. Again, you want to do this a few times. Find the music that's going to be the most intense and then you're all set. So here we are. Great setup. We're looking at around 95 dBs, and that's in the A weighting. And then C weighting, that's what you feel more. You feel it's the weighted version is how much you feel in energy. So it's the frequencies that are outside of your hearing. You definitely hear that a lot more there. So again, that was 95 versus 120. So that's very impressive, very impressive. So now what am I doing? I'm cleaning this up a little bit because we are going to reset this. So now I'm going to set this up the way I would want to do it, which is a double subwoofer, and I'm going to stack these. We're going to get rid of all these cables here. This is always important. I mean, running through, putting things away, very important. It's better than stepping on something and breaking it. So if you take a minute or 2 or 3, clean it up a little bit, straighten it up so you can put things away properly. There you go. Then you're going to be ready to start your next job. Now here, I'm going to actually be bringing out 2 different Harbinger. They're both 18s, and I'm going to be stacking them up here in a second. Now you notice one of them has wheels at the bottom, one of them has wheels at the back, because the wheels at the bottom, that's me. I do. That's a custom setup. I like that. If you're in a hotel, halls, church, anywhere where you're not going to be taking the subwoofers and putting them in a van, that's a good way to go. Now here, look at it. We're going to be using Piles Mixer now. This is a 3-channel out. So it's 3 channels in, 3 channels out. And what are we doing here? This is going to allow me to have my 2 main speakers connected to the main out, left and right. And the third output is for subwoofer. It's not a sub out, it's actually a subwoofer. It even has a low frequency button on it. So this way I can choose how I want to set that up. Very impressive, very reasonably priced. That's why we have it here. I mean, it's a smart little add-on mixer. If you're using a controller and you want to run your subwoofer separate and manage it, this is a pretty smart setup. Now, we do need all XLR cables for this. There's no 1/4-inch output. So here are the 2 XLRs. I have a shorter XLR to get me from subwoofer to subwoofer, and a long one to make that main connection. So here it is. First, I've taken my longer 25-foot cable, made the main connection. Now I'm going to come out of that one and go straight up. But here is where I'm showing a bit of the actual adjustments. These are important. You want to make sure everything is right, especially when you have 2 subwoofers and you're stacking them. They have to be set up so this way the phase is both in the same direction. The level you're going to have to tweak, because if you're not sure what the mixer level is, you're going to have to make that adjustment. So here we are going up to the second one, out of the first one. Now, again, this is also very important. You make sure the polarity is the same on both subwoofers. They both should be going normal, forward if you're facing your subs forward. And again, I don't need any time alignment because I'm lined up right with it. Full range, I'm setting everything up so this way the mixer is going to be in control. Make sure my volumes are down when I start. And again, I'm going to be going a +4 dBVs on here instead of 10 dBu, I think it is. We're going to try this back and forth and see which one's better. Definitely with this particular mixer, it turns out that if I'm on minus 10 dB, it really was a problem. The subs were very loud, but they were redlining right away, like 20% redline. And if I went to minus, they weren't as loud, but I got a lot more energy out of them, and I was able to turn up the volume full tilt on it, which was a big, big difference. And that's very, very important. So again, do some tweaking on it, find out what works best for you, and you'll be all set. So again, I'm just checking it, balancing it out right now, getting the most out of that subwoofer. And it's also important when you have two subwoofers that are similar but not identical, that you basically make sure that each one sounds great and you're not pushing it beyond its limits. Now again, here we're going to notice that our 95 going up, we can peak it and see what it looks like. So we're getting up to 100. Now that's only a little bit louder than what we had before. The difference is, if you look at it weighted, how much energy you feel off of the subwoofer, that's where the difference is. We're going to be up at 120, 115. We're up there and we're pushing a lot more bass, a lot more energy in the room. So if you're looking for low end and you want to be able to adjust that up and down, this is a great way to go. Well, there you go. I hope this video helps you out today. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.